Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a Royal Oak that represents something approaching as good as it gets. This is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual 25820SP, a traditional 39mm ultra slim Royal Oak complication in stainless steel and platinum. This is an exquisite, artisanally crafted timepiece with a density of features and fineries that boggles the mind, even my jaded mind. On my 16cm jaded wrist, you can see the watch wears easily. A 39mm Royal Oak, this was the original and remains the best size for the watch. It's also fairly slim. All things considered, automatic with a perpetual calendar, it's only 9.2mm thick with a generously sloped bezel, so it will easily slide underneath a dress cuff. Lug to lug, as with all Royal Oaks, there are two ways to measure. The actual case across the wrist measures a reasonable 48.6mm, but even if you include the solid and somewhat stiff plot links, these double links at the end of the bracelet, it only flares out to 51.8mm, so I would recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference to wear with security and a handsome proportion. Now I'll take the watch off the wrist and we'll talk a little bit about the bracelet. The bracelet is a big part of what you buy when you purchase any Royal Oak because it's the quality of the finish, the aesthetic integration of bracelet and case, as well as the superb ergonomics that help to define the experience of owning a Royal Oak. You'll note big channels on the underside to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair, nicely made with a seamless taper from the lugs straight down through the diminishing width of the links. It's easier to see the taper than to feel the step down. That's how close the tolerances are from link to link. You'll also note the polished bevel that continues seamlessly from the flank of the case down across the shoulders of the links. And moving down to the clasp, you can see this is a different generation of AP clasp. This watch, featuring a mid-E serial number, is in my opinion a roughly 1999 or 2000 product, so it is a millennial Royal Oak quite literally. Single trigger release, you pull the trigger back to open up the clasp. The clasp and the bracelet are stainless steel. The intermediate links, the polished links, are platinum. The large links are stainless steel, and polish is your cue. Polished bezel is platinum. Polished intermediate, platinum. Satin finished large links, satin finished case, steel. So that's why you saw stainless steel on the inside of the clasp. You'll note the bracelet fixed on by screws, always the right way to assemble a high-end watch. Audemars Piguet should be copied by every luxury watchmaker in the use of screws to fix bracelets and straps to cases, and also to set and remove individual removable links. You can see AP using screws the right way. Patek. I'm talking to you, Nautilus and Aquanaut. Now jumping to the dial side, you can see the platinum bezel is quite distinct. Polished on both its top and its flanks. It's different from the finish you'll see on a conventional Royal Oak, wherein you'll have polished and rounded edges and then a satin-grained, straight-grained top. Here it's all of high polish, which means there's a little bit less contrast in terms of texture with the bezel bolts, but you will note that there is a different coloration about the ultra-white platinum and the somewhat darker, somewhat more gray, even slightly jaundiced white gold bezel bolts. So there is a contrast there, it's just not as pronounced without the satin grain of the bezel. The dial is sensational. Let me get as close as I can without corrupting the focus. Now this is the traditional tapisserie dial. I should also mention that the perpetual calendar complication is old hand in the world of Royal Oaks. The first Royal Oak perpetual calendar bowed way back in 1981, so the perpetual calendar is one of the oldest entries in the Royal Oak family, really surpassed only by the original jumbo. You'll note the tapisserie is a sort of hobnail that is cut into the plate representing the dial. A pantograph machine has a large template that mimics the pattern that is the hobnail, or the, if you will, city block cut, into a smaller template that becomes the dial. You'll note metallic registers for all of the displays. There is a mono counter at 12 o'clock for the leap year cycle as well as for the month. You'll note there is a age of the moon and moon phase with a beautiful blue crescent style moon phase. And then you have your day and your radial date. And there's something of a countersink to these registers, which is to say they're lower than the profile of the tapisserie itself. And if you look carefully, you can see I'm fighting the glare in here, guys. Bear with me. You can see outboard on a contrasting white on black railroad style track, there's a down-stepped hour track outboard with individually applied white gold indices to match the white gold needle style hands at center. That's probably the best view we're going to get of the style. You can see all of its rich details, its metallic textures, the hobnail cut, the differential coloration of the dial base, the silver of the metal, and the blue of the night sky with its golden stars. You also get a good view of that hour track outboard. 20 meters water resistant. This is anything but an aquatic sports watch. You can see on the case back, this is Audemars Piguet caliber 2120/4 with module 2802. So the base movement is made in-house by Audemars Piguet. It's based on an ancient Jaeger-LeCoultre design, but it's built in-house and finished in-house, as well as regulated in-house by AP. You can see a beautiful blackened AP skeletonized rotor with a 21 karat white gold winding mass. The balance beats away at 19,800 vibrations per hour. You'll also note there's a sort of ring that runs around the full circumference of the movement, and that's because there is an annular winding mass. It is a full ring supported on 4 equally spaced ruby jewel rollers, and those ruby bearings support that annular ring with its asymmetrical weighting, so you can have a very low set rotor without any danger of it crashing into the bridges and marking the movement. That's how this complicated automatic watch manages to be only 9.2 millimeters thick. 38 joules, automatic winding with a 40-hour power reserve. It is finished to a much higher standard than what you will find on the likes of a 15300 or a 15400. Those are nice watches. This is simply better. A historic movement, the same base that powers the original Jumbo and modern-day 15202. It's enriched with Audemars Piguet's own Perpetual calendar module. You can see and make this dream watch, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual calendar in platinum and steel, yours on the watch box.